Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, gives the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia an official welcome at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic. And to reinforce the bilateral cooperation, several agreements and memoranda in various sectors were signed. The President of the Republic and his Somali counterpart affirmed their mutual will to reinforce the bilateral cooperation and their convergence of views regarding regional and international issues. In addition to the socio-economic problems, the Moroccans are also facing corruption, a scourge present in all the Makhzen institutions. The Sahrawi people is determined to fight for independence till the last breath, and the international press attaches great importance to the Sahrawi cause and the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination. Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, gave the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, an official welcome at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic. After listening to the national anthems of the two countries and hailing the flag, the two presidents reviewed detachments of the various forces of the People's National Army that rendered them the honors. Then, the two presidents took a memorial photo before the national and foreign press. The Somali president hailed a delegation of high government executives who welcomed him. For his part, the President of the Republic hailed the members of the delegation accompanying the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia. This visit reflects the common will of the two presidents to reinforce the bilateral cooperation and consolidate the collaboration in the mutual interest issues. Then, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, held a bilateral meeting with the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. The bilateral meeting was then extended to the delegations of the two countries to discuss the bilateral cooperation and the mutual interest issues. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, co-chaired at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic with the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, a signing ceremony of several agreements and memoranda in several sectors.
مراسم التوقيع على الاتفاقيات بين الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية وجمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية. مذكرة تفاهم بين وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي بالجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية ووزارة التربية والثقافة والتعليم العالي بجمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية بشأن التعاون في مجال التعليم العالي. الموقعان عن الجانب الجزائري السيد كمال بداري وزير التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد فرح شيخ عبد القادر محمد وزير التربية والتعليم العالي. برنامج تنفيذي بين وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي بالجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية ووزارة التربية والثقافة والتعليم العالي بجمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية. الموقعان عن الجانب الجزائري السيد كمال بداري وزير التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد فرح شيخ عبد القادر محمد وزير التربية والتعليم العالي. اتفاق بين حكومة الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية وحكومة جمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية في مجالي الفلاحة والصيد البحري. الموقعان عن الجانب الجزائري السيد ياسين المهدي وليد وزير الفلاحة والتنمية الريفية والصيد البحري، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد حسن حسين محمد وزير الثروة الحيوانية الغابات والمراعي. اتفاق بين حكومة الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية وحكومة جمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية في مجال الصحة الحيوانية. الموقعان عن الجزائر السيد ياسين المهدي وليد وزير الفلاحة والتنمية الريفية والصيد البحري، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد حسن حسين محمد وزير الثروة الحيوانية الغابات والمراعي. اتفاق بين حكومة الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية وحكومة جمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية في مجالات النفط والغاز والتعدين. الموقعان عن الجانب الجزائري السيد محمد عرقاب وزير الدولة وزير المحروقات والمناجم، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد طاهر شيري محمد وزير البترول والثروة المعدنية. اتفاق بين حكومة الجمهورية الجزائرية الديمقراطية الشعبية وحكومة جمهورية الصومال الفيدرالية بشأن الإعفاء المتبادل من التأشيرة لحاملي جوازات السفر الدبلوماسية. الموقعان عن الجانب الجزائري السيد أحمد عطاف وزير الدولة وزير الشؤون الخارجية والجالية الوطنية بالخارج والشؤون الإفريقية، عن الجانب الصومالي السيد عبد السلام عبد علي وزير الشؤون الخارجية والتعاون الدولي.
In a praise statement, the President of the Republic affirmed that this second visit reflects the common will to reinforce the bilateral cooperation and the exchange of points of view regarding mutual interest issues.
زيارة تجسد الإرادة المشتركة لتعزيز العلاقات وتعبر عن حرصنا على مد جسور التعاون وتبادل وجهات النظر حول القضايا التي تهم بلدينا الشقيقين. لقد تطرقنا في هذا اللقاء إلى فرص التعاون في مجالات الطاقة والزراعة والصيد البحري والصناعة الصيدلانية والتعليم العالي. وفي هذا المجال أسجل بأننا أنجزنا خطوة ستكرس إرادتنا المشتركة لاستغلال الفرص المتاحة لتكثيف وتوسيع التعاون، حيث ستستقبل الجزائر 110 طالب من صومال الشقيقة مستفيدا من هذا التكوين في الموسم الجامعي 2025 و2026، ونحن بصدد تعزيز هذه الخطوة بمنح أخرى في مجال التكوين المهني والشرطي والجيش الدفاع، وفي كل ما ترغب فيه جمهورية الصومال الشقيقة.
The President of the Republic affirmed the convergence of views between Algeria and Somalia regarding the support to the Palestinian people.
تحدثنا بطبيعة الحال عن القضية الفلسطينية، وجددنا دعمنا للشعب الفلسطيني من أجل نيل حريته واستقلاله. وبطبيعة الحال تطرقنا إلى الأوضاع في ليبيا، وأكدنا معا على أهمية الحل السياسي الليبي الجامع خلال انتخابات حرة تفضي إلى بناء مؤسسات شرعية وتحافظ على وحدة ليبيا وسيادة شعبها الشقيق على أرضه، ووضع حد للتدخلات الأجنبية في شؤونه. كما تطرقنا باستفاضة إلى مستجدات في منطقة الساحل والصحراء وفي السودان، وبخصوص هذا البلد الشقيق السودان الذي يشهد مأساة إنسانية حقيقية ويعاني من التدخل السافر لتأجيج الفتنة. عبرنا عن رفض تلك التدخلات الوخيمة العواقب والتي ما فتئت تمعن في الإضرار بهذا البلد الشقيق.
The Somali president, for his part, hailed Algeria's role in promoting peace, justice and African solidarity, highlighting that the discussions were marked by a brotherhood spirit, mutual understanding and common will to reinforce the historical relations between the two countries.
It is a great honor and privilege to be in the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, a country whose broad history of liberation, leadership, solidarity, and continuously inspire us all in Africa and in the Arab world. Our discussion today were marked by a strong spirit of fraternity, mutual understanding, and shared determination to strengthen the historic bonds that unite our two peoples. We exchanged views on excellent relationship between Somalia and Algeria and reaffirmed our continuous commitment to building a partnership founded on mutual benefit and mutual respect. We have reviewed key areas of cooperation regarding the trade and investment, education, defense, security, agriculture, and human capacity and human capital development. We have agreed to work together to promote regional stability, strengthen economic integration, and advance the broader objectives of the African Union and African Union's Agenda of 2063 and Somalia's vision of 2060.
The Somali president reaffirmed the support of his country to the Palestinian people in its legitimate fight for independence and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with Al-Quds as its capital.
We have agreed to stand steadily and solidly with the people of Palestine for their independence and their own state, which Quds al-Sharif is the capital within the borders of 1967. Similarly, we have discussed many other issues that exist in the Arab world regarding Libya, regarding Sudan, regarding Sahara, and all of them we stand that those countries, Libya and Sudan, their sovereignty territorial integrity has to be respected, and Algeria and Somalia together will work to make sure that those countries enjoy these basic rights that every other country in the world has. We have reaffirmed our support for multilateralism as a foundation for solving regional and global problems. Somalia greatly values Algeria's enduring role in promoting peace, justice, and African solidarity as well. We also appreciate Algeria's unwavering support to Somalia's state building.
On the sideline of the signing ceremony, the Army General Said Chengriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, held a bilateral meeting with his Somali counterpart. The State Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, also held a bilateral meeting with the Somali Minister of International Cooperation, Abdussalam Abdi Ali. The State Minister, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Mines, held a bilateral meeting with the Somali Minister of Oil and Mineral Resources, Al-Tahir Shiri Mohammed. The Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Kamal Badari, held a bilateral meeting with the Somali Minister of Education and Higher Education, Farah Sheikh Abdul Qadir Mohammed. The Minister of Agriculture, Rural Development and Fisheries, Yassin Al-Mahdi Walid, held a bilateral meeting with the Somali Minister of Animal and Forest Wealth and Pastures, Hassan Hussein Mohammed. Accompanied by the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research as well as the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Somali President visited the Higher National School of Artificial Intelligence in Sidi Abdullah, where he was given a detailed explanation on the various specialties of the school and the projects of the students that will contribute to the national economy. At his place of residence, the Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud received the Prime Minister Sifi Gharib, who paid him a courtesy visit. At the Sanctuary of the Martyr, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia paid his respects to the martyrs of the glorious National Liberation War, where he laid a wreath of flowers in front of the commemorative stele and recited Surat al-Fatiha from the Holy Quran. Then the Somali President enjoyed the panoramic view of the Bay of Algiers. Then he visited the National Museum of the Mujahid, where he was given a detailed explanation on the different periods of Algeria's history, notably the glorious revolution of November 1st, 1954. Before signing the museum's Golden Book. Representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the President of the Council of the Nation, Aziz Nasri, took part in the celebrations of the 50th anniversary of independence of the Republic of Angola. Aziz Nasri was received by the President of Angola, João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, to whom he delivered a written message of the President of the Republic. He also met with the Sahrawi President Brahim Ali and the President of the National Assembly of the People's Power of Cuba, Esteban Lazo Hernandez. The General Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Lunas Magraman, received the Assistant High Commissioner for Protection at the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Ruvenderi Menikdiwela. The two parties discussed the ways to reinforce the cooperation between Algeria and the UN High Commissioner for Refugees to meet the expectations of the refugees. In Algiers, the Algerian-Russian Business Forum started on Tuesday with the presence of several operators of both countries. This event aims at finding new investment and cooperation opportunities in several sectors. and Morocco is facing a deep socio-political crisis marked by corruption, repression and growing public anger against a regime that has lost people's trust. Najah Diyar with the details.
The Moroccan people have taken to the streets to express, as always, their pain and legitimate demands, to which the Makhzen responds only with violence and repression. Nowadays, this crisis has confirmed that the Makhzen is unworthy of the citizens' trust, now perceived more as an oppressor than a guarantor of their daily lives. And in this situation, all vital sectors are paralyzed, institutions are sluggish, and bureaucracy remains ineffective, fueled by corruption and clientelism.
Our government has faced severe criticism for its inability to govern, a situation confirmed by the Minister of the Interior himself. Around 300 officials, including parliamentarians, municipal councillors, political representatives and university presidents, are currently under investigation for corruption. More than 24 individuals are imprisoned and over 250 others are being prosecuted. Citizens expect the government to respond to their demands and to implement measures that ensure a fair distribution of resources, as well as the right to work in health and education.
With a wave of brutal repression now targeting those who dare to demand nothing but a dignified life that they owe, the regime's large-scale embezzlement of public funds has proved becoming systematic, serving only its own interests at the expense of citizens' rights and national unity, as human rights organizations say.
Corruption is deeply rooted in society. Today, nearly 5% of the GDP, roughly 50 billion dirhams per year, is embezzled or wasted.
The worsening situation has pushed the citizens to sell their lands and homes, causing the national crisis to deepen, which led to a surge of public indignation.
Among the recurring recent international topics of interest, the Sahrawi cause is of great importance, as its people are still fighting for their voices to be heard, as self-determination is a legitimate right. More details with Madame Boubagra.
Despite the mirage of truth painted by Morocco, the truth cannot be buried beneath propaganda, simply because the desert always exhales what's hidden away. The decolonization process enshrined in the United Nations. Through diplomatic pressure, falsified accounts and media maneuvers, Rabat is attempting to portray the conflict as a mere regional dispute. However, more and more international media outlets and experts are pointing out that Western Sahara remains an occupied territory, whose people have the right to self-determination. Despite the occupiers' strategy of obfuscation, the reality is increasingly recognized globally. In 1963, the United Nations added Western Sahara in its list of non-self-governing territories undergoing decolonization. 2 years later, it demanded Spain to end its colonization of the region. However, Spain ignored this order to preserve its interests in the region. In 1973, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Saguiya al-Hamra and Rio de Oro, better known as Polisario, was founded. The front established itself as the Sahrawi Liberation Movement and began an armed struggle demanding total independence. A Spanish channel also tackled the issue in a documentary that highlighted, through testimonies and evidence, the tragedy experienced by the Sahrawi people for decades. Caught between the yoke of Spanish colonialism and barbarity of the Moroccan colonizer, the report recalls the existence of 3 walls surrounding the occupied territory: a wall of sand littered with mines that separates families, a wall that blocks roads and restricts movement, and a media blockade that stifles the voices of the Sahrawis and activists around the world. Several years ago, I was offered money to write a flattering article about Morocco and I refused it. That's when the nightmare began. I was subjected to cyber attacks and I was the victim of defamation. International monitoring of human rights in Morocco is limited to vague analysis based on biased and incompetent data. The issue can no longer be ignored by international organizations. There has been a radical change since November 13, 2020, and the violations of the ceasefires. And although it has been impossible to enter the region since 2019, it has become even more difficult to do so since. Thanks to these voices around the world, the Moroccan occupier can no longer stifle the cries of the legitimate demands from the Sahrawi people, and has failed to impose its illusory thesis of supposed legitimacy over the territory. Historical facts and international law confirm that this land belongs entirely to the Sahrawi people, who will not be deprived of their rights and independence.
to France now, where the colours of Algeria sparkled again. The first edition of the Golden Fennec Awards brought together the Algerian football family, players, artists and sporting legends, united by a shared sense of pride. عفاف بالحوشات، أنانيا البحري.
The best people in football and Algerian culture came together to celebrate their love for football as the Fennec d'Or 2025 turned the gym into a real party with elegant clothes and lively Algerian atmosphere. Algerians should be together everywhere. Now we must show to everyone that we are the best.
I'm really happy to be here. That's a really special event. I'd like to see more of these kind of events, and yeah, we're here to support the Algerian events and Algerian football and wish them all the best.
I wish all the best for the national team because tonight we were there for them to give this trophy, and being next to Bloomy is amazing. The thrill grew with the presence of legends. Lakhdar Belloumi, remembered for a famous goal against Germany, and Sheikh Sa'dan, the man who led our players back to the world stage from Omdurman. The Algerian players are everywhere. That's why we need everyone to support them and bring them to the same level as the national team to play in the World Cup and the African Cup. We are here to support the Algerian team. All of this is for Algeria. An event this big shows love for Algeria and for all who can represent the country wherever they are. It is a great honor. Next were the winners. Brahim Maza, young talent from Bayer Leverkusen, Mohamed Amoura, striker from Wolfsburg, top scorer of the year, Rami Ben Sebaini, key player for Borussia Dortmund, best Algerian player of 2025. To the audience, thank you for coming. We will always aspire to meet your expectations. Thank you for everything you do for us and the international team.
Yes, first impression is very good, alhamdulillah. I'm happy to be here to get the invitation, and yes, let's see.
The thrill continued with Iman Khalif, champion ensemble of Algerian female determination.
I am proud and delighted to be here. I am happy to see that everyone is happy around me. It's a great pleasure to be present among you.
The rest of the evening had an amazing atmosphere. It felt like going back in time with old and new songs, flags and strong feeling of pride and love for our national team. The strong Algerian spirit, never tired, creates unforgettable moments. And beyond the trophies lies the true beauty of this night, organized by La Gazette du Fennec. Old and new, artists and athletes, intellectuals and supporters, all united by the same emotions, singing for Algeria together.
And with this we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.